The 1990s were a transformative era for hip-hop, as the genre rose to become one of the most commercially successful and culturally impactful music styles in the world. Black-owned rap labels were at the forefront of this movement, not only shaping the sound of hip-hop, but also creating opportunities for black entrepreneurs to gain financial and creative control in an industry historically dominated by white-owned corporations. However, systemic barriers, financial pressures, legal challenges, the consolidation of the music industry and just getting straight up bamboozled led to many of these black-owned labels being gaffled, bought out, absorbed into larger corporations or forced out of business. Here's a detailed account of how this happened, including names, dates and key events. Death Row Records. Founded in 1991 by Suge Knight, Dr. Dre, the DOC and Dick Griffey, initial investor. Key artists included Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur. Notable albums: The Chronic by Dr. Dre in 1992, Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg in 1993 and All Eyes on Me by Tupac Shakur in 1996. Death Row Records became one of the most influential labels in hip-hop history. Really dope. It defined West Coast gangster rap with its G-Funk sound and sold tens of millions of records worldwide. At its peak, it was valued at over $100 million. But Suge Knight's aggressive management style led to numerous lawsuits from artists and business partners. Dr. Dre bounced in 1996 due to disputes over royalties and creative control. Tupac Shakur's untimely passing in September 1996 devastated the label both financially and creatively. Suge Knight's balling out on luxury items, cars, jewelry, parties drained Death Row's resources. The label faced mounting debts due to unpaid royalties and legal settlements. In April 2006, Suge Knight filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy after losing a $107 million lawsuit to Lydia Harris, who claimed she co-founded Death Row with Knight. In January 2009, Death Row was auctioned off for $18 million to Wide Awake Entertainment Group. After being sold multiple times, Death Row lost its status as a black-owned label and became part of larger corporate entities. In 2022, Snoop Dogg acquired the Death Row Records brand from MNRK Music Group, controlled by Blackstone. While Snoop Dogg owns the brand, the label's catalogue and certain rights were not immediately included in the acquisition, according to Digital Music News. The sale of Death Row Records to Snoop Dogg was facilitated by Blackstone, a global investment firm. Uptown Records. Founded in 1986 by Andre Harrell, key artists Heavy D and the Boys, Mary J. Blige, Joe Edisy and Al B. Shaw, Uptown Records pioneered the fusion of hip-hop and R&B, laying the groundwork for what would later be known as hip-hop soul. It launched the careers of key figures like Sean Diddy Combs, who started as an intern at Uptown. In the early 1990s, Uptown partnered with MCA Records for distribution. While this provided financial stability and broader reach, it also reduced Harrell's control over operations. By the mid-1990s, MCA fully absorbed Uptown Records into its corporate structure. Andre Harrell left Uptown in 1995 to become CEO of Motown Records. Uptown lost its independence as a black-owned label and became another subsidiary under a major corporation. Roc-A-Fella Records. Founded in 1995 by Sean Jay-Z Carter, Damon Dash and Kareem Biggs Burke, key artists included Jay-Z, Kanye West and Beanie Siegel. Notable albums were Reasonable Doubt by Jay-Z in 1996, The Blueprint by Jay-Z in 2001 and The College Dropout by Kanye West in 2004. Roc-A-Fella became one of the most successful rap labels of the late 1990s and early 2000s. It was known for its entrepreneurial spirit and innovative marketing strategies. Roc-A-Fella partnered with Def Jam Recordings, owned by Universal Music Group, for distribution. In December 2004, Def Jam purchased Roc-A-Fella outright for $10 million. Tensions arose between Jay-Z and Damon Dash over creative direction and business strategy. After the acquisition by Def Jam, Jay-Z became president of Def Jam, while Dash left to start his own ventures. Roc-A-Fella ceased to exist as an independent black-owned label after its acquisition by Def Jam. No Limit Records, founded in 1991 by Percy Master P. Miller. Key artists included Master P, Mystical, Silk the Shocker, and C Murder. Notable albums were Ghetto D by Master P in 1997 and Unpredictable by Mystical in the same year. No Limit Records became known for its prolific output, releasing dozens of albums annually, and its innovative marketing strategies. However, No Limit released so many albums that it diluted its brand value by flooding the market with inconsistent quality. By the early 2000s, No Limit faced declining sales due to changing consumer tastes and competition from other labels. Master P filed for bankruptcy in 2003, but later rebranded as New No Limit Records under Coke Entertainment. Bad Boy Records, founded in 1993 by Sean Diddy Combs. Key artists included the notorious Big Faith Evans and Mace. Notable albums were Ready to Die by the Notorious Big in 1994 and Life After Death by the Notorious Big in 1997. Bad Boy was one of the most successful labels of the late 90s due to its combination of rap hits and R&B crossovers. While Bad Boy remains operational under Diddy's leadership today as a brand name within Sony Music Entertainment's ecosystem, its autonomy has been impacted by corporate partnerships over time and Diddy's current legal troubles. Many black-owned labels struggle to secure loans or investments from banks or venture capitalists due to systemic racism in financial institutions. The consolidation era saw major labels like Universal Music Group, Sony Music Entertainment, and Warner Music Group absorbing smaller independent labels to expand their catalogues. Independent distributors that worked with black-owned labels began closing during this period or were acquired by major corporations. Lawsuits drained resources from many black-owned labels, for example, Death Row's bankruptcy following a $107 million judgment. The rise of digital music disrupted traditional business models reliant on physical record sales, a shift that disproportionately affected smaller labels without access to capital for adaptation.
Well, who are these new groups?
The biggest black-owned rap labels of the 90s, Death Row Records, Uptown Records, Roc-A-Fella Records, and many smaller black-owned labels were systematically squeezed out through financial pressures, legal challenges, industry consolidation, and systemic barriers to capital access. While some labels like Cash Money have managed to survive through strategic partnerships or adaptation to new business models, for example, streaming, many others lost their independence as they were absorbed into larger corporations or collapsed under economic strain. These events reflect broader challenges faced by black entrepreneurs in maintaining control over their enterprises within an inequitable music industry structure that continues to favor major corporate entities over independent voices. The 1990s were a transformative yet challenging period for black-owned rap labels. While these labels played a pivotal role in shaping hip-hop culture and empowering black entrepreneurs, systemic barriers, industry consolidation, and shifts in music consumption led to their decline. Many factors contributed to this decline. Major record labels began acquiring successful independent black-owned rap labels, reducing the number of black executives with control over their companies. For example, consolidation shifted decision-making power away from black executives to predominantly white corporate boards. This diminished the cultural authenticity and community-focused approach that had defined many of these labels. Running a record label required significant upfront investment for marketing, production, and distribution. Many black-owned labels struggled to secure loans or investments due to systemic racism within financial institutions. Without sufficient funding, labels like Ruthless Records, founded by Eazy-E, and Thizz Entertainment, founded by Mac Dre, faced financial instability that limited their ability to compete nationally. The costs of marketing and securing airplay increased dramatically during the 1990s as radio stations consolidated under corporate ownership. Independent labels could no longer rely on personal relationships with DJs to break new artists. Several prominent black-owned rap labels faced legal scrutiny that drained their resources and tarnished their reputations. Financial mismanagement and legal judgments forced some labels into bankruptcy. The rise of digital music platforms disrupted traditional business models reliant on physical record sales. Labels like Thizz Entertainment struggled to adapt as CD sales declined. Many independent distributors that worked with black-owned labels closed during this period, leaving major distributors focused on larger corporate clients. This made it harder for boutique labels to get their music into stores. As hip-hop became more mainstream, major labels prioritized quick hits over long-term artist development. This shift marginalized smaller black-owned labels that had built their success on nurturing talent over time. Materialism became a dominant theme in rap music during the late 1990s, reflecting broader cultural changes that prioritized wealth over community upliftment. Fewer black executives meant less cultural understanding within the industry. Decisions about which artists to sign or promote were increasingly made by people disconnected from the communities that birthed hip-hop. The deaths of influential leaders left some labels without strong leadership. High-profile feuds within hip-hop also destabilized some labels. Systemic racism within the music industry limited opportunities for black entrepreneurs to maintain ownership of their businesses. Many were forced to sell their labels or accept unfavorable partnerships with major corporations to stay afloat. The association of hip-hop with criminal activity led to increased scrutiny from law enforcement and media outlets, further stigmatizing black-owned labels like Rap-A-Fella and Death Row Records. The decline of black-owned rap labels in the 1990s was driven by a combination of systemic barriers, financial challenges, legal troubles, industry consolidation, and cultural shifts within hip-hop itself. These factors disproportionately affected independent black entrepreneurs who lacked the resources or institutional support to compete with major corporations. Despite these challenges, the legacy of these pioneering labels endures through their contributions to hip-hop culture and their influence on modern independent black-owned labels like Top Dawg Entertainment, TDE, and Quality Control Music. Understanding this history is essential for addressing systemic inequities in today's music industry while fostering a new era of black ownership and creative control.